Hello watch people, this time I am going to unbox and review a watch from a brand which you might have never heard before, named Aragon. Aragon has its origins in the early 90s and they are based in United States. They produce so-called original design watches of varying sizes. I bought this watch from their original website during Black Friday sales and since then it's been waiting in my review list. Enough talking, let's see which model I've got here. It is the Dive Master 4 Evo. Dive Master is one of the signature models of Aragon. One is probably the 4th or 5th generation. Digging further in, we are treated with the company logo. I must say the box is made of wood and it's covered with resin on the outside and velvet on the inside. Overall, the box quality is great. There we can see the instruction manual. We have an address to Aragon's office. Nothing special, just the standard stuff. Now we can have a good look at the watch. As you can see, it is sweeping and not ticking. Yes, you have guessed it right, it is an automatic watch. Let's take off this dial protector and have a good look at the dial. As you might have already noticed, this watch has the key features of a diver and indeed it is a 200-meter water resistant dive watch. Let's have a look at the dimensions. This watch is 43 mm wide, but keep in mind, the bezel is bigger than the case, making it wear like a 45 mm watch. The case thickness is 14 mm and the lug to lug is 49 mm. It weighs in at 221 grams, including all the links. Let us talk about the case first. The case is made of stainless steel and it is brushed all around. There are no high polish sections other than the knurling on the bezel. The bezel insert is made of ceramic and the markings on it are lumed as well. The crystal is flat sapphire with an anti-reflective coating supposed to reduce the glare while reading the time. The sapphire crystal, coupled with ceramic bezel, should give you adequate protection against scratches. Taking a closer look at the dial, we can see cylindrical blocks on the hour markers, which Aragon calls 3D superluminova hour index. Basically, they are transparent blocks with superluminova applied on top. This is quite unique as this kind of marker layout is only used in a handful of watches like the Bulova Oceanographer, which has lume applied on the bottom side of the block. The dial itself looks like a ceramic piece similar to the bezel and it can vary upon colorways which we choose. The brand model name along with automatic, professional and water resistant 200 meter is printed on the dial. We can also see Japan movement printed at 6. There is also a framed date window with white date wheel at 4, replacing the hour block. The crown is also placed at 4, which is signed and loomed. The crown size is big, just like the bezel. We have no problem getting a good grip even with wet hands. It is of course a screw down type as it is necessary for a 200-meter diver. The screw out action of crown is smooth. The first position is of course for winding and I hope you can hear the winding noise. The second position is for date change. And third position is for setting the time. The screw in action is also good but not buttery smooth. Now let's check the bezel action and alignment. The bezel is unidirectional and the sound is satisfying. It properly clicks to each of the 120 positions. The bezel alignment is spot on. Good job, Aragon. I almost missed to talk about the hands. Well, the hour marker is Syrian style and we have an arrow-shaped minute and second hand. They are highly polished on the edges and are lume filled as well. There is no such thing as an external chapter ring as the minute markers are printed on the dial itself. So far I'm impressed seeing what Aragon brings to the table. Let's move on to the bracelet. And it really needs your attention. First thing you will notice is the size. It's huge. It starts at 22 mm from the lug and is consistent across, no tapering. Seriously, you can feel the weight of the links as they are solid stainless steel and thickness is 4 mm. This bracelet is no joke. Aragon went wrong with its design. Maybe it is necessary to balance out such a top-heavy watch. We'll check that while it's on the wrist. The double security clasp is signed and milled. I have never experienced such a huge clasp before. It has 3 holes for micro adjustment, which is okayish. Adding to that, it has got male and links, so as I can conclude, it's almost a bye-bye for small wrists. To the display back, we have a mineral glass window, and the specifications are printed all around. Read it yourself, please. My cheeks are going numb. Thank you. Now let's come back to the display window and can have a good look at the movement. We can see the rotor is painted in blue with Aragon's name on it. As written on the case back, yes, it's a Seiko 4R35 movement rebadged as SII NH35. On the time grapher it shows -4 seconds a day, which is well within the limits, and you can certainly tweak it for a bit and make it more accurate. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Well, we have already met a couple of elephants. This one is the real elephant, the daddy of all elephants. Is that even a... Anyway, the point is the real conversation starter, the Lume, and Aragon has supplied it generously. Everyone is going to stop and ask you about the watch, not only for the size, also for the Lume as they see you enter a dark area. If you can charge it adequately, it will light up like a torch. It's Super Lume Nova, baby. As with the longevity, it performed adequately well. Indices fades rapidly, but even after my 30 minutes test, I could still see the hands, so it is good enough for me. Let me give you a quick wrist shot of the Aragon Dive Master for Evo. On wrist, this is proportionate for my 7.25 size. No overhangs. But yeah, it is definitely heavy. I hope you'll have a similar experience if you're not accustomed to big watches. Time of purchase, Aragon also had a 48mm version of this watch in stock, which was originally in my mind when I decided to pull the trigger on this Dive Master. I am so glad that I have made the right decision at that time with this 43. Now, let's discuss a couple of aspects of this watch which I found a bit annoying. First thing is the weight. Even for my above average size wrist, this watch felt heavy. They could have easily reduced the mass of the case as there is quite a huge gap between the dial and the crystal. If the case was less weighty, the bracelet could have been made way smaller. The second issue, which may be personal, that I am against making the lume exposed on the bezel as well as on the crown. Each time you touch it, it will take off some of the lume material. Over time you will notice once you charge it up. The third point is the hands. It feels a bit short, as it does not extend all the way to the minute marker. You might have already noticed the term wing engineered on the box as well as on the case back. Mr. Wing Liang is the lead designer and public face of Aragon watches. He is a guy of great taste and produces mostly original design watches. You will understand it once you check Aragon's inventory. It is totally fine to see that term on the box, but on the watch it sounds a bit technical. And yeah, that bothers me a bit. These are mostly my personal nitpicks and you may feel different. In the size department, however, Aragon is known for making big and bulky watches. Of course, this is one of the smaller designs. Considering the positive side of things, what they offer is incredible for the price of $169 which I paid at the time of purchase. If you have the above average size wrist like mine and you like statement pieces like this watch is a total package for the price. As I've been into watches for quite some time now, I have a grail watch in mind if that concept exists. That watch is a Rolex Sea Dweller. To be frank, this Aragon reminds me a lot of that grail piece in the looks department. The dimensions are almost same. Other than that, you cannot even compare those two watches. But at least for now, this watch fills that gap for me. Let me add something as a side note. This watch is a real statement piece and it is definitely not going under the cuff. Even if you check Aragon's history, they mostly design tool watches other than dress pieces. Again, you will struggle to find a better value proposition as far as original designs is your thing. To sum up, if you can handle it, take it, otherwise leave it. Please take a moment to like and subscribe and I will see you on a future video.